Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good people. I don't know when you're listening to this. My name is Imani, and joined with me is Kevin Ismail. He will definitely introduce himself.
Yeah, my name is Kevin Ismail, but they call me Kev.
Okay, Kev. Karibu sana, you're my co-host today. Excited to have this conversation with you. So today we're talking about relationships. And I don't know. I'm going to let you take the lead on this one. Just tell me what your thought is on romantic relationships. Let me be very specific. It's not friendships. It's not general. It's romantic relationships. So, yeah.
From what angle do you want us to look at relationships?
Romantic relationships. Okay.
Yes, romantic relationships.
I don't know if you want me to put you on the spot. Are you dating? Well, are you comfortable letting the people know? Come to mahali amekuona.
I think that's a different conversation.
Okay.
But I don't know. I think romantic relationships is quite an interesting topic to have. And especially in today's society and in today's environment and everything that is happening.
Yeah.
I think relationships are just relationships, and there's a lot happening in that space of relationships.
I think you've said relationships 3 times in a row. One sentence. I feel like this is a topic that makes people very nervous.
Yeah.
And yeah, just thinking about it. Maybe let's start here. What do you look for in a partner for you?
In a partner?
Yeah.
I think it's a joke of a lady that was asked what do you look for in a man, and then they said I want a tall, dark and handsome man. I was like, okay, lady, you need to wake up because you're looking for 5 different men in one. So,
really?
I think for me, I think sometimes this is how I see it, yeah? And probably you have a different perspective, and maybe our listeners and viewers have different perspectives on what they look for in a relationship or in a partner. What I look for in a partner is, of course, someone that is smart and hardworking, understanding, kind above everything else, and God-fearing. Yeah. What do you look for in a partner?
Well, I don't think I have a list per se of what it is that I want from a partner. I would say someone who's good with people. By good with people, I mean not the kind of people who you'll have a sit down at a restaurant and they're the first person yelling at the waiter, feeling like they own the world. The kind of person who respects people. Hardworking, of course, and loving. Yeah.
And I would assume that is really nice, and I think you just described me.
Did I?
For another day or behind the scenes. We are both in our late 20s.
Yeah.
Do you think you found that person, or what has been the journey for you in finding that person that you just described?
Well, the journey has been journeying. To answer your question, it's a definite no. I haven't found whoever I'm looking. It's a sijampata bado. There have been those that have come close, but not yet. And I think as I continue journeying on this thing called life, I continue getting enlightened on the kind of person that I would like to be with and spend the rest of my life with. But also, I feel like my experience thus far has had me questioning a lot. For example, and this might be very controversial, I don't know. Is marriage a must? Like, do we all have to get married?
This leads to my other question.
Yeah.
Romantic character development.
Kev Nani had a figure character development. We're in Nairobi, for goodness sake.
Yeah.
So I think yes, it's a yes for me. I have been in relationships before. They've been interesting, of course. I'm grateful that they were with good people. They were just not meant to be, right? And I think that's the beauty of putting yourself out there and getting to interact with people and getting to know who people are, and also having the idea of who it is that you want to be with at the end of the day. So yeah, I think I'll throw the question back to you. Where you look very relaxed. Nikama, no character development has hit Kevin's side.
I think I've gone through very bad character developments in this Nairobi.
Yeah.
For me, I think actually I've been a very... You see, when my voice has changed, it's come down.
Well, listeners, this is about that time.
Pick a character. I think again, as you said, you need to look at things from the positive side. And you don't want to give up on life. Give up on finding your suitable partner just because you've gone through this. I think you asked a question about is marriage really like
a must?
Is it a must? But if you're a Christian, you will know that the Lord has commanded us.
Well,
I know the road is rough and the journey is tough. We have to keep trying. And I think I'm in a space where I'm taking my time. And I think the most important thing when you're looking at relationships, or one thing that I've learned in my many or a few character developments that I've gone through, is that don't rush into being in any relationship, being with someone just because you think you like them or they excite you. I think it's very important for you to be able to take time to be able to study someone and grow friendships in that person, understand that person. Because, of course, when you meet a person, you're not going to meet a replica of you.
That's true.
So you need to be able to understand that person and just be able to... Yeah.
And I think I agree, because we all come from different backgrounds, different cultures, how probably Kevin was raised is not how Faith was raised, right? Our belief systems are probably different. So getting to actually have sit downs and getting to know this person deeper is actually very important, to get to know even, do our values align? Those kinds of things. So you've mentioned something. You said we're for character development.
Yeah.
Mbaya. So, of course, I'm not going to ask you what happened, but maybe what did you do? What are some of the ways that you got over them, or got over the entire situation? And also whether healthy or unhealthy, because it's good to know. And you see, you can also realize if something was unhealthy now, because you've had that introspection of, maybe I should not have done that. And if, God forbid, it happens to me again, if the next person that I am with is not the one and we actually part ways, what are some healthier ways that I can actually just be able to deal with this?
The question was how I was able to...
How did you deal, whether negatively or positively? And looking back, what would you have done different, if anything? Because, sometimes you might look back and just be like, that was the best thing for that time because I was feeling how I was feeling. Because heartbreak is painful and it impacts us differently. So, yeah.
First of all, I'd like to acknowledge, just as you have said, heartbreak is something that is very painful.
Yeah.
And I would also like to acknowledge that it is very difficult for you to... sometimes it's very difficult for one to be able to let go and just move on. It takes time.
Yeah.
It's a healing process. And I think that was the first point of understanding for me, that I know it's going to take time for me to be able to let go of my past relationship, which was very painful for me to let go. But one of the things that I did, I think the impulsive decisions that I made at that time was, I just woke up one day and said, I'm going for a holiday by myself. And I just, that same day, I booked a flight on the same day. Left Nairobi, went to Malindi.
Sorry.
And I stayed there for a whole week of self-reflection.
Yeah.
Just to understand, because I also did acknowledge that there are some things that I did wrong in the relationship.
Yeah.
Which probably ended up not working.
Yes.
Or us separating. So I acknowledge that I had my own faults, and there are things that happened that probably I would have done differently.
Yeah.
I may not be able to say that these are things that I feel like I would have done differently now here, but I know there are things that, of course, definitely I would have done differently. But the most important thing is for you to be able to really understand and appreciate that makosa inafanyika. Kama wewe uko kwa makosa unakubali.
Yeah.
Alafu you're able to also accept that you give people time, you can't just force someone to forgive you. Also just give them time, and if they're able to forgive you, well and good. If they're able to come back, well, if they're not able to, move on, and we'll say that was part of the journey finding the person. Because I know through the many incidences that you've probably gone through, you will understand that anyway, this is part of life.
Yeah.
You go through these things, and acceptance is one thing that maybe I think we all need to understand and appreciate. That self-awareness and acceptance really helps one to be able to heal and to move on, and to be able to love again, and to be able to look at marriage from a positive perspective and say, actually, I want to get married someday.
Okay, Sawa. Very many insights from Kev.
Yes.
I do have another question.
Dr. Love.
Sure. Do you think, maybe you can tell us you personally, you don't have to get very deep into it. Would you?
No, before you ask me that question, I would like to ask you the question.
Okay.
How was it for you? Probably you've gone a situation, maybe a specific situation scenario that you went through something, and how are you able to overcome it, and what is one of the things, or one or two things that you learned from that past relationship that I think you'll do differently in your next relationship, inshallah?
A lot of tears
Yes.
and ice cream. And a lot of well, of course, like we said, breakups are painful, particularly if you think it's something that's going to last, or someone that you really someone that you thought, for example, you were going to spend the rest of your life with, or just someone that you really valued very highly or considered very highly. For me, I think what has helped me through the years is the gift of friendship. Being able to have people that I can lean on during that time when it feels like, with heartbreaks, you feel like there is no tomorrow. You feel like the world has ended. You feel like, what now? Why am I waking up? Because I've heard heartbreak being compared. I know, of course, it's not, but I've heard it being compared to death.
Just to make you understand how heartbreak can be, actually heartbreak is, because for me, just here with you, experience. I broke up with someone on the day we were supposed to move in together.
That's rough. Are you okay, brother Kevin? But I feel okay. And of course, I would not want to misstep, but I feel like better before you move in than after. Because I feel like, do you imagine if it could have gone beyond the moving in together, having stayed together a couple of days, months, years, and then now it's... So maybe it's best that, because moving in is actually a very big step. So maybe it's, I don't want to say it's for the best that it happened, because of course pain was involved for both parties, I'm sure.
Yes.
But I mean, trying to look at the positive side of it, where you are able maybe to cut the cord before things got deeper and more serious.